your bill, you made a reference to Texas leading the nation in certain monuments being removed. Certain monuments being removed. Isn't your bill mainly about monuments that glorify the Confederacy?
No, I mean, as we saw, Senator Rodriguez, and again, I'm about, and I understand your reference to Confederate monuments, and I'm here today to say that we need to educate, not celebrate what they stood for. But my bill speaks to even James Hogg's monument on the University of Texas campus that was removed along with Robert E. Lee in the middle of the night and other monuments, and then now it's by university preference. And now it's going back to being placed on campus.
Well, that's a Confederate monument.
But it's going back to being placed on campus. So this will allow for a process that will be more resolute and have more public weigh-in than we've had in the past. So I appreciated your comments in committee in our exchange on the tier system and on the merits of the bill, and I think we all worked in committee to make it a better bill.
Well, what is the distinction between, as you put it in the committee, between balancing history and celebrating history?
The distinction is understanding and recognizing the good and the bad and the ugly of our past and teaching from it, as we see on Capitol grounds. When I come up to the Capitol in the summer with my 9-year-old son, and I throw the football with him on the Capitol grounds, and we see all the kids on summer break with their parents and their families and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins enjoying the Capitol complex and taking this walk through time. All those families, and I visit with them, they are educating their kids and grandkids on parts of our past that we would not celebrate.
So we celebrate the Confederacy.
That's what that's what I just said to you. That's not something that we would celebrate, but we will educate from it instead of tearing it down and ignoring it and possibly creating a situation where our kids don't learn from it.
Well, maybe you and I would say that we're not celebrating the Confederacy, but a lot of those witnesses that came and testified on support of your bill made it very clear to me, as I heard it, that we needed to celebrate our past history, the Confederacy in particular. Some people they claimed relatives that fought in the Confederacy. And so that's why I'm asking you about, this business of balancing history, as you put it, and celebrating history, in this case, the Confederacy.
Well, there were witnesses that testified that mentioned family members from generations ago that fought for the Confederacy or served in the military, but there was one witness in particular, Senator Rodriguez, that was awful, and he was towards the end of the group, and quite frankly, we none of us can ever predict or defend against those that are not right in the head to show up at any of these hearings, but the fact that 1 out of 30 million decided to do so, there's always one.
Well, and I recall that person. I think he identified himself as being a member or even the head of the Texas Nationalist Association, or group, as he called it.
I don't think that was the same person. I'm talking about the person that used the awful rhetoric that Senator West mentioned. And I sent that person a letter to his house, pulling committee records, denouncing that rhetoric and all that he stood for. So,
but there was a witness there who identified himself as being associated with the white nationalist organization.
Besmirching, disparaging, slandering. The organization whose t-shirt that I wear today, yes, I wore it on yesterday's program. No, I did not wash it overnight. It is the same t-shirt that I wore on yesterday. I felt obligated to do it because of the subject matter that I'm going to be hitting on quite extensively today, and that is the fact that State Senator Jose Rodriguez from El Paso, Democrat jackass, from the floor called the Texas Nationalist Movement a white supremacist organization. Oh, I have the proof. I have the video. And for someone like Jose Rodriguez, a pro-genocide jackass, to get on the floor and mischaracterize what the Texas Nationalist Movement stands for, and to slander the organization and every member of it as some sort of white supremacy organization, or that everybody in it is a white supremacist, points to the fact that Jose Rodriguez is your typical Democrat, asinine imbecile. You owe the Texas Nationalist Movement, every member of the Texas Nationalist Movement, an apology today, right now. You pathetic creature. You sorry excuse for a human being. Let me ask you something, Jose, you Nimnon imbecile, you El Paso jackass. Let me ask you a question. You see this t-shirt? I've been involved with the Texas Nationalist Movement since around 2010, 2011. At least have worked with the leader of the Texas Nationalist Movement, Daniel Miller, for that long politically. I'm now an officer of the Texas Nationalist Movement. Let me ask you something, Rodriguez. Let me ask you something. Do I look like a white person to you? Are you colorblind? Do you see that I have the ability to produce melanin at a greater rate than you do? Do you recognize me as a black Texan, a multi-generational, at least 5 generations black Texan? Do you recognize that? Do you think I would be involved with a white supremacist organization, you asinine jackass? You see, you slandered my brother. You slandered my sister. You slandered my brother, Daniel Miller. He's not just my brother in political causes and for the liberation of Texas. He's my brother in Christ. And you slandered him. And you slandered his wife. And you slandered his children. You slandered my friend and my brother. You slandered my sister in Christ, Kara Miller. You slandered them by saying that they're some sort of leaders of white supremacy. You're disgusting. If anybody's the bigot, it's you. If anybody is the racist, it's you. If anybody is pro-genocide, it's you. Hey, you better. You hear me, Jose? You better apologize. You better apologize. It ain't no asking. It's not a demand. It's an order. No, dude. No. I ain't gonna leave you alone for this. I'm not gonna leave you alone for this. No, I'm not angry. The spirit within me is angry for what you have done. You're gonna slander my brother? You're gonna slander my sister, their entire family? You're gonna defame them, disparage them, and the entire organization of people, most of whom are Bible-believing, church-going Texans, as somehow white supremacists? Oh, I get it. You're such a dumbass. You figured anything with nationalists in it had to do with white supremacy. No, I'm a Texas nationalist, dude. I'm a Texas nationalist, okay? So if you think I would be involved with a white supremacist organization, you really have shown that you have the intellectual quotient of protozoa.